PSA Reloaded, man. It's your boy 3-Letter Man. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Y'all see where to follow your boy at. Hit the like button also. I appreciate that, man. Y'all see the title of this particular blog. Let's talk about it. So, we knew once Joe heard Rory and Mal on their show take shots at him at being number one for what the hit was hip hop podcast, I guess. Whatever Joe and them won. Shout out to them again for that. Once we heard them go into that bag, Rory and Mal, we kind of knew Joe was going to respond, right? And did he respond in a very big way where I feel listening to Rory and Mal on their show today that you could tell what they heard, that either people were saying the same, sharing the same sentiments like Joe and them did on their podcast about the To Whom It May Concern or the bare minimum boys, and the way he emphasized the bare minimum boys, right? You could tell that Rory and Mal were kind of stung by that, so to speak, because listen to Rory, respectfully, Rory, I ain't got no problem with you, sir, but you did sound very Carl Thomas emotional off that. Gotta be honest, Rory and Mal, I gotta have some real talk with y'all brothers, man. I've said this before. I think a lot of people was riding with y'all because they did not, as much as I rock with Joe, and that's my guy. Even I made a blog a couple years ago when Joe did all that. I didn't like how he on the couch and acting like he was talking to Rory and firing them, and you know, I didn't like that. I didn't think that was cool at all. I didn't like how he handled that at all, right? I think a lot of people share the same sentiments at all. Y'all gotta remember now, people were getting at Joe Budden about the situation to the point that people wanted, and I'm gonna say it again, people wanted Rory and Mal to win. They wanted to win. And I saw I guess, see Rory and Mal, y'all can't do that though. Y'all can't sound tough and mad on y'all podcast, and then y'all seem like y'all embracing what Joe said, because I saw on a flyer that y'all had on Instagram, it looked like Rory's rocking a bare minimum shirt and Mal's buying camera stand, mic stands, and everything like that. So y'all listening to what Joe and them is saying. Y'all do like the back and forth, or do y'all like the back and forth? I don't know. I like y'all brothers, man, but how y'all roast someone, then they clap back at you, then you sound tight. Where they do that at, respectfully, man? And listening to Rory and Mal this morning, Rory sets the show off and he goes straight into it, man. He goes outside of 2 or 3 jokes in the beginning. I've not said an effing word. And Rory, that might be true, because I feel between you and Mal, you have taken the high road more than Mal. But this is when you have to have a conversation, Rory. This is when you have to have a conversation at your co-host. Hey, Mal, I don't know if you was on your Math Hoffa tip, but you need to read between the lines, because, Rory, either you a shook one and you can't look at your man and be like, yo, fam, let's slow this down, in my brand Nubian's voice. Tell him to slow down. Rory, you can't look at your co-host and tell him, yo, let's slow down a little bit. Were you talking to Joe and Mal at the same time, Rory? Because as much as y'all get on Rory sometimes, I agree with Rory. Rory has not really wilded out like that. Mal, on the other hand, Mal is wild out any chance he can. And let me say this, I'm not mad at the clapback. I'm not mad if Joe clap at y'all, y'all clap at Joe. Even though right now, I would say right now, it's getting kind of corny now at this point. It's getting real corny at this point. But if y'all want to go in that bag, go in that bag. But when you go in that bag, you can't come and sound disgruntled, upset, flabbergasted, flustered, bewildered. You know? Maul is taking shots anytime he wants to, man. Maul takes more shots than Kobe. Maul takes shots at Joe Budden as much as he can. Joe and them take shots also. Let's not get it twisted, right? But I just feel, Rory, if you're gonna sound like that, talk to your mans and them. Talk to your co-host, bro. Rory said he's been objective and compliments anytime he can, and I don't know this whom it may concern BS and subs and talk to people. He's like, talk to people. And what do you mean talk to people? You want Joe to have a conversation with you, Rory? Is that what you want? Because if you ask me, I'm going to keep it real. Between Rory and Maul, if you ask me respectfully, I feel Rory still feel he wishes on that show. Yes, Rory, I do feel you still wish you was on that pod. In your heart of hearts. Maul on the hand, I don't know. Maul, you're the cool guy. You're the really look at you, but Maul, you sound bitter more than Rory. I'm gonna keep it real, Maul. Respectfully, I rock with Maul too, man. Maul, I feel you sound more bitter than Rory by far. And maybe Maul has a reason to feel salty in the sense of that was his man's and they had a real relationship outside of podcast world and hip hop talk. Then Rory and Joe. I mean, when you live with somebody and y'all live in the same crib, and I remember you go back to the Joe Budden, what was that, the BT Cypher? When it was Joe Budden, Nicki Minaj, Buckshot, and a couple of those other cats. Maul was right there in the Cypher chilling with Joe. You go back to early YouTube editions of Joe Budden, Maul was right there. So these brothers' friendship is, I mean, but y'all do the subs though, Rory. Y'all be subbing. And Rory, you gotta understand you are guilty by association if you catch a stray. Are you telling Maul to chill out? Be easy. But Rory, you did sound tight, King. You did. Maul has called a man a thief and everything. So of course people are gonna clap back. You know? You can't throw your hand and then you just can't throw your hand and play victim. You can't throw your hand and play victim. You just can't do that, Rory. We're not gonna let y'all get away with that. I mean, now Joe bleeping out names and all that. What am I to say? I don't even know what to say to that. I guess he's don't want to give them any clout. I hate that word, clout. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying that word. Don't want to give them any kind of shine. But Joe, you're giving them shine anyway because we know what you're talking about, dog. All the subliminals you could do, Joe, we know what you're talking about, King. We know what you're talking about. You know? And then Maul, I gotta be honest, you say you're not mad, and then you sounded angry. Right after you said we're not angry, we're cool. Then you go into saying that Joe is not the podfather, you're not the master of podcasting, whoever gave you that title, you ran with that. That was Comeback Jack, R.I.P. Comeback Jack. That belonged to Comeback Jack. Now, do I believe Joe Budden is the podfather? No, I don't believe in that podfather stuff. Now, was he out here 1-2 doing Joe Budden TV early and all that? He was into YouTube early. I'm not gonna call the man the podfather, but y'all can have that. Some people will claim he has that title. You know what I mean? Or you can't talk tough to Joe and y'all at academic and y'all talking about subs and everything. Y'all were throwing subs at academics when y'all was on Joe Budden podcast all the time. So you can't talk about y'all don't do subs, though, Rory. You can't do that, dog. You just can't do that. When you getting at Joe, but y'all don't need to get an act like that. When Ack was talking crazy. Ack was talking crazy on y'all. You know? Every time I see Maul on the show, people interview Maul. Can y'all stop asking about Joe Budden? Just stop asking these brothers about Joe Budden or Joe Budden about Maul. Let everyone move on, man. Can't y'all just have an interview and just bypass the moral questions or the Budden questions to each party? Y'all can't buy. I can interview more right now. I don't have to bring up Joe's name. You know what I mean? So people now are saying, well, Queen's Flip, who seems to be, I don't want to say the mouthpiece for the Joe Budden podcast, but you know, Flip don't care. Flip does not care. Rory telling people over there, shut the F up. Rory, we don't believe you. You need more people, Rory. Respectfully, Rory, we like you, but you know, come on, son. You know, I don't know, man. And Rory and Moore, y'all gotta understand something, man. Some people will say, respectfully, y'all, Joe is doing y'all a favor by saying y'all name. By saying y'all name, making y'all a little bit relevant. Some people are saying that, Rory and Moore. I feel y'all should let the content speak for itself. I'm a very strong believer in letting content speak for yourself. You don't always gotta go into war words. Y'all got what y'all wanted. Y'all got up out of that situation because y'all felt the situation was not feasible for y'all. Y'all say y'all not mad, but y'all do sound tight. Mo, you can't sit there and say you tired of getting drugged in when you're the main one taking shots, King. And it don't make no sense and everything, man. So, I don't know, man. Leave comments at the bottom, man. Tell me what y'all think, man. I just think this thing is getting very corny at this point, man. You know what I mean? So, it's your boy 3. Come on.